everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, HJ, welcome to my channel. And I'm back with another Harry Potter fan theory video, because who doesn't like a good theory? Well, I honestly did not expect this to be my next video, because I already did, obviously, the Aurelius Dumbledore ones, looking back at all the fan theories about him before we knew he was Aurelius Dumbledore. If you haven't seen that yet, you can check it out on my channel. And as I was going through my Facebook that night, and my video had already been uploaded, I found an article from Ranker, vote on everything. So obviously Ranker is a site where people can post their theories, post polls and things, and everyone can click the up arrow to agree or the down arrow to not agree. And they found the best Harry Potter fan theories of 2022. So since I already went back to 2022, let's go back again to 2022.
I'm back again.
And see what the best Harry Potter fan theories were. Why not? It should be fun. So if you want to see what the best fan theories of 2022 are, please stick around. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe if you would like. And without further ado, let's get started. The number one best theory, according to this, is Petunia's parents were killed by Death Eaters. Now, we do actually not know what happened to the rest of Harry's family, because obviously he ended up with Petunia and Vernon and Dudley, and they were the only living relatives he had. So this could be a valid theory. Death Eaters came for Lily and Petunia's parents and probably killed them looking for information on Lily's whereabouts. This is why Harry never went to them, and it's why Petunia remained spiteful towards Lily even after her death. She blames her sister for the loss of her parents. That makes sense. Obviously, if Harry's the chosen one, and obviously James and Lily went into hiding, they might have gone around the families and killed them, asking for information. Do you know where they are? Do you know where they are? But obviously no one knew where they were apart from Peter. I'll agree with that. I'll up that, actually. I'll put an up on that. Would you up that? Might as well. So after each one, I will say if I agree with it or not. I'll put an up arrow or a down arrow. Next one. Oh, this is a sad one, but I like it. Barty Crouch Jr. was taunting Neville with the Cruciatus Curse. So, as we know in Goblet of Fire, that Alastor Moody wasn't actually Alastor Moody, it was Barty Crouch Jr. via Apologies Potion, and he was teaching them the curses, the 3 unforgivable curses, as he was the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. Every time I reread, I think about how awful it is, obviously because of what was done to Neville's parents and how it would just feel to see the spider tortured just like them. But I never put it together that Mad Eye, who was actually Barty Crouch Jr., was actually one of the people involved in torturing Neville's parents. This adds a whole new level of darkness to a scene I already thought was dark upon rereads. I'm the only one who had never noticed. Barty's literally doing the same thing to the spider, what he did to Neville's parents, right in front of him, and then he comforts him afterwards. I don't know how I never realised. I love that, yep. I know Neville says, oh, there's the Cruciatus Curse, because that's one he knows that the Death Eaters used on his parents.
14 years ago, a Death Eater named Bellatrix Lestrange used the Cruciatus Curse on my parents. And
then for Barty to take him up and show him cruciating the spider, like what he did to his parents, is actually pretty sick. It is actually pretty horrible and sick. Like, I feel bad for Neville, so I'm giving that an up. I'm clicking up for that, like, I agree with that. Luna was a legitimate. Okay. I started thinking that Queenie in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them talks a lot like her. Then I followed it for a bit and noticed that Luna always seems to be able to know how people felt and what they wanted to say. Maybe she has a downgraded version of the skill, or has it in full and doesn't use it out of politeness. True, because Luna is always, like, knows how people are feeling. Like, specifically, I remember the scene from the Deathly Hallows.
Come, Daddy. Harry doesn't want to talk to us right now. It's just too polite to say so.
And it's like, because her and Queenie, they're so alike, it's weird. I'll agree with that. I will agree with that. All these theories are valid to me just now, like three for three. 4. Neville and Aberforth have a similar relationship to Harry and Dumbledore. Okay. While Harry and the trio were searching for Horcruxes, Neville, along with Ginny and Luna, the rest of the old DA, were building a resistance to overthrow the Death Eaters back at Hogwarts. Not only did Aberforth's passage to Hogwarts from his pub provide students with much needed food, but Aberforth presumably mentored Neville before the final battle of Hogwarts. When Albus Dumbledore's concentration was on Harry, the chosen one, Neville also needed guidance in order to reach his full potential as a leader of the at-home resistance against Voldemort. Neville was also going to be a key in the final battle, even though he wasn't ultimately chosen in the prophecy. I would like to think Aberforth got close to Neville as much as how Harry and Dumbledore were. That's actually cute. not in that way, but like that's actually pretty valid. How Albus Dumbledore is there to help the chosen one, Harry. So he's like, chosen one, Harry, Dumbledore. And then you get Aberforth helping Neville, who could have been the other possible chosen one in the prophecy. And you get two Dumbledores helping out the two chosen ones. Neville may have asked Aberforth what to do for guidance. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'll give it 4 for 4. Two Dumbledores for two chosen ones. Oh, this is a sad one. George stopped celebrating his birthday after Fred's death until his son was born. I don't think I can read this. George hated the fact that he and Fred would never be together on their birthday anymore. So he didn't celebrate them after his death, but George's son was born on the exact same date as him and Fred, which is the 1st of April. April Fool's Day. How appropriate. And named him Fred II. Also started celebrating his birthday now that Fred was by his side. That is too cute not to agree with. Because can you imagine losing... Well, I'm a twin, so it's easier for me, but like imagine if you had a twin, you lost your twin. Your birthday comes around, you don't want to celebrate it. You have a child. It's born on the exact same day as you and your lost twin. And then you start celebrating again because your twin's by your side, because you named them after their twin. I'll agree with that. 5 for 5. 57 people disagreed with that. How? It's Fred, for God's sake. It's Fred and George. 57 people are muggles. They don't have hearts. 6. Salazar Slytherin created the Mirror of Erised? What? If this makes complete sense... I was going to say I'll eat my hat, but I'm not going to. It is not known who or when created Mirror of Erised, but I believe it might be Salazar Slytherin himself. One of the traits in Slytherin House is known for ambition, and so I believe Slytherin might have created the mirror as a tool to show his students what they could achieve through hard work and to keep their ambition high. However, as Dumbledore said in Sorcerer's Stone, the mirror does not show truth or knowledge, but rather the user's deepest desire, and it drives people mad. So I think that Slytherin looked into it himself, and he saw the perfect world where only pure blood wizards, and that's when he truly became an extremist after being obsessed with his vision, to the point where he left the school after a fight with the other founders and left the Chamber of Secrets after him. I agree with that a little. Like, not 1,000,000% agree with it, but I get the theory. Yes, the trait of Slytherin is ambition, and then even though the mirror shows you the deepest desire of your hearts, it is an ambition that you want. Like, because Ron was like,
that's me! Only I'm head boy, and I'm holding the Quidditch cup. And bloody hell, I'm Quidditch captain too! Hello, good.
That's ambition for Ron. That was like what he saw, but that was what he wanted. That's an ambition of his. Harry saw his parents, but I think his ambition, when you think about it, all he wants is his family back. Look at it deeper, maybe it's his ambition to have a family? All these theories are valid, like I'm agreeing with that. Let me know in the comments below, do you think Salazar Slytherin made the Mirror of Erised? All 4 of the founders had a secret room in the castle? What? We know about 1 for Salazar Slytherin. But what did the other 3 make? What? After reading Chamber of Secrets, I think that all 4 of the founders of Hogwarts had a secret room in the castle. This might be a long one. Grab a butterbeer. Grab a chocolate frog. Let's get into this one. The door to the headmaster's office is hidden behind a gargoyle, making it a great place for a secret/private study. Not the sort of place for a headmaster's office, since it requires a password to enter that makes it too private for an office that student parents and occasional government officials. An office that would have been designed for such public use would not use a password, because if one student goes to the office, which happens many times with just a few students we know of, then it's likely the entire student body could have that password. So either it was designed to change password after any non-faculty visit, or it was not originally designed as the headmaster's office. With the Gryffindor knocker, I think it was originally Gryffindor's private office that later generations converted into headmaster's office because it was the nicest. Okay. Moving on to the next one, we will come back and go through each. The other secret room in the castle that is never given a clear origin is the Room of Requirement. A room accessed by mental concentration with its own imagination. A room that can be an office, storage room, apartment, bathroom, or really anything if the user has the imagination to think it up. The perfect place for a witch that values intelligence and creativity. This was created by Ravenclaw for her private use. It becomes the resting place for her diadem. It's also mentioned by Ravenclaw's own daughter, one of the few characters that would have been alive during the founding and would have known about her mother's private room. Oh my god, I already agree with this. I already agree with this. Right, what's Hufflepuff? Hufflepuff, on the other hand, was not about secret chambers or offices. She believed any and everyone should be allowed in the school. Her, this is a word I can't pronounce, egalitarian philosophy, sorry if it's wrong, would therefore not be focused on separating herself from the school, but protecting every member of the school regardless of their house or class. She created the statues and enchanted armour that protects the school during the Battle of Hogwarts. And then obviously Slytherin created the Chamber of Secrets, Gryffindor created the Headmaster's Office, Ravenclaw created the Room of Requirement, Hufflepuff created the statues to protect the school. Right, well, we don't need to discuss the Chamber of Secrets because we already know that was Salazar Slytherin, and a whole lot of mess went down there. So, Gryffindor creating the Headmaster's Office, I agree with. I definitely agree that Ravenclaw created the Room of Requirement, because obviously one of the traits for Ravenclaw is creativity and being like imaginative, so I will agree with that. And Hufflepuff creating the statues, I'll agree with, because Hufflepuffs are loyal, they protect the things that they love. Helga loved the school, loved the students in it, make statues to protect the school. Agreed. 8. The Weasleys' Egypt trip. Should I say that 5 times fast? The Weasley's Egypt trip was rigged to help Ginny mentally recover from Tom Riddle. I don't have much evidence for this, but I think it's possible. Bill was a curse breaker who made good money, and his parents have shown to have much pride to take handouts. So he went to the Daily Prophet / Ministry of Magic and set up a fake contest so they could win a free trip to Egypt. The ministry probably agreed because they wanted to sweep the fact that a student was involved in the chamber attack under the rug. Having the involved party be out of the country in the immediate aftermath of the events would help do that. See, I don't know about that. No, I don't think I agree with that. I don't think Bill would do that. His parents have shown to have too much pride to take. Yeah, they won't take handouts. Like, they're not a charity case family. Like, yes, they don't have as much money as, say, like the Malfoys, and they've always been known as the poor family. But they're like, they make do. They make do. I think his parents would know. I think his parents would know if he did something like that. Like, I don't know. I think this is the first one I don't agree with. Sorry, I'm going to have to disagree with that. This one is, Petunia knew about Platform 9 3/4 but chose not to tell Harry. Now, I already agree with that considering the title. We learn via The Prince's Tale that Petunia came along to see Lily off to Hogwarts. So she knew about the platform, but she and Vernon abandoned Harry at the train station in book 1, literally laughing at him. I think Vernon often comes off as the crueler of the two, but abandoning your 11-year-old nephew in King's Cross when you know he's going to have to walk through a wall to catch a train and not telling him is pretty intense. I agree with that. Like, Petunia knew Lily was a witch. Their parents were delighted. They obviously would have taken Petunia with them to see her off no matter what Petunia thought. So, I agree with that. 10. Petunia and Vernon were willing to sacrifice themselves for Dudley, just like Lily and James did for Harry. Now, being the fact that they are the Dursleys, and they are known to be cruel to Harry, they do love their own son. They should have been nicer to Harry, but we understand why they didn't like Harry. But at least they love their own son. Listen to the audiobook version of Goblet of Fire, and had never noticed this before. In the beginning of the book, there's a chapter where Mr. Weasley, the twins, and Ron arrive by Floo powder at the Dursleys' house to collect Harry. I remember this. It's a funny chapter that really underscores the difference between the Wizards and the Dursleys, especially with Arthur versus Vernon. But I was struck by the Dursleys' bravery. At first, Vernon shields Petunia and Dudley with his body while talking to the Weasleys, which is brave in and of itself, given how he feels about wizards. However, the scene then made me have to turn off the book and think for a minute. Happened after Ron and the twins had left. The twins had left behind the tongue toffee, which Dudley eats, which forces his tongue to grow. Arthur steps towards him with a raised wand, saying he can fix it. As the readers, we know he would never hurt Dudley, but the Dursleys don't have that insight. It's true. Petunia and Vernon loathe wizards and are terrified of them. In this scene, this complete stranger, this wizard, has blasted apart their fireplace without a second thought, demonstrating a great deal of potentially destructive power. He steps forward towards Dudley, wand raised. Petunia immediately throws herself across Dudley, shielding him from what she perceives to be a malice intent, exactly like Lily shielded Harry from Voldemort. It was a small detail in a single line in the book, but it blew me away. She may not have been a likeable character, and is of course awful towards Harry, but in this moment she was remarkably selfish and brave in the perceived face of death or serious harm. It's true, like, no matter how, like, much you don't like other people, if you're a parent, you always have that natural instinct, like, my child, I'll protect my child at all costs. It doesn't matter how old they get or anything like that. Like, you will protect your child at all costs, which is what Petunia was doing with Dudley. She didn't know that Arthur wasn't going to hurt him. Like, they know of the Weasleys, but they don't know if they think all wizards are awful because they don't like them. But I will give this credit that they are willing to risk their lives for Dudley because it's their kid. Why wouldn't they? I'll agree with that one. Oh, this one's quite cool. Fred replaces Peeves as the Hogwarts poltergeist. What? I assume the regulation for becoming a Hogwarts ghost is to die in Hogwarts. So why wouldn't Fred fight his way back to be with his brother in Hogwarts forever and become the new poltergeist? But I have to agree that just on the basis of that is a very cool idea. I don't know what the requirements are to be a ghost or a poltergeist at Hogwarts. Peeves might pass on his mantle and go, there you are, Fred. Well, I agree with that one. I definitely agree with that one. 12. Salazar Slytherin created the Chamber of Secrets for protection from muggles. Okay. This is probably going to be a long one again. In the Harry Potter world, it is known that the Slytherin house is not a fan of mudbloods, of magic people born to non-magic families. This is believed to have stemmed from the belief of one Salazar Slytherin, one of the founders, which the house is named after. It is my belief that Salazar Slytherin only distrusted Muggleborns, not actually hate them. Okay. Looking at the time when Hogwarts was founded and what has been said throughout the books, Hogwarts was created as a sanctuary for young witches and wizards to escape the persecution of Muggles. Okay, yeah. Obviously, it's like witch trials, things like that. So, my belief is that as it is hard to be a witch or wizard, Slytherin feared that the Muggle world would corrupt magical-born people to non-magic families and create the Chamber of Secrets to protect Hogwarts, not just to harm mudbloods. Okay. So it would be like it's almost like if the Muggles found Hogwarts, even though they can't see it, if they found uprooted all the young witches and wizards, like the Chamber of Secrets, only he could access it and he could keep all the kids safe. And the second book says that Slytherin found the untrustworthy. It did not say he hated them, just found them untrustworthy. This is when magic was persecuted, so possibly he feared that a young witch would be persuaded to find Hogwarts so that Muggles could destroy it. So the Muggles persuade a student to take them to Hogwarts, and then they destroy it. It would explain the Chamber of Secrets. It was meant for protection. Only his heir could find it. Therefore, he did his best to preserve his idea of protection. Of course, this was not the case. Voldemort ruined everything again. Another bit of evidence could be that the basilisk had to be told what to do, and it did not act on its own. This could mean it was not just meant to cause chaos, just to do its master's bidding. At time went on, Slytherin's mistrust of Muggleborns was bent into hatred, so it turned into hate for mudbloods, hence Malfoy and the Death Eaters. I'm half and half with this one. Like, I'll agree with the fact that at the time that Hogwarts being built, if you can imagine like witch trials and things, like people would have got rid of every witch or wizard. They made Hogwarts as a safe haven for witch or wizards, so Salazar Slytherin created the chamber in case any Muggle persuaded a student to take them to Hogwarts and they would destroy it. He could keep them all safe in the chamber. Only he could open it, and the basilisk would only listen to him. And then he probably kept it there for protection for like years to come, because obviously no one was gonna, like, if we went about and we found out which was just like, I honestly think same thing would happen. So I 50-50 agree, but also I don't think it like that, because it's Salazar Slytherin, and if there's any indication like that, I think the writer would have already told us. I don't think I could vote on that one. What do you guys think? Do you agree with this one or not? Let me know in the comments, because I can't click up or down. Like, I can't agree or disagree with it because I'm in the middle. 13. George dyed his hair after Fred's death. I've heard canon that George dyed his hair after Fred died in order to prevent himself from seeing Fred every time he sees his reflection. I want to not believe that, because it would be hard for him, yeah, but it would also, when he looks at himself see Fred, it was probably also a reminder to keep going, because Fred would have wanted him to. I mean, it's headcanon, so it's not actual canon. But no, I'm going to click no, I don't want to agree with that. Just because it makes me too upset. I can't agree with it. I'm sorry, I can't. If you guys agree with it, that's fine. 14. Dumbledore wanted Sirius to rot in Azkaban. Okay. One question that always bugged me is, why didn't Dumbledore help Sirius? I know that he didn't know about the last minute switch between Peter and Sirius, but he knew that betraying his best friend isn't like him, and Dumbledore is a skilled legitimate, as shown when he read Creature and Morphono Gaunt's mind, so he could have read Sirius' mind, found out he's innocent, and his word would have been enough to free him, since the word was enough to clean Snape's name. The headmaster also has a lot of influence in wizarding politics. This would explain why Sirius was sent to Azkaban without trial, so that he had no chance of trying to prove his innocence, since Death Eaters that have committed equally horrible crimes were given a trial. But why would Dumbledore go out of his way to ensure that one of his most loyal Order members would be thrown in Azkaban? Because if Sirius was cleared, he would have taken legal guardianship of little Harry, and the boy who lived needed to go to the Dursleys because Petunia was a blood relative of Lily. As long as Harry called the Dursley house home, the protection of Lily would live on in Petunia. So he would spend his formative years in a harsh but safe environment. Dumbledore is the man who does things thinking about the wizarding world as a whole, not individuals, and on that moment, the best for the world would be Harry to stay safe at the Dursleys until he was old enough to fulfill the prophecy. And although he didn't dislike Sirius, he needed to put him out of the picture for his plan to work. I agree with that. I think I've heard this somewhere before as well, that like everyone's like, oh, why didn't he clear Sirius's name? Like, why was Harry having to grow up there when he could have grown up with Sirius? Because Petunia is the only living relative of Lily, and in order for Lily's love protection to work, Harry had to stay with a relative of Lily, a blood relative, in order for the protection to keep going until he was old enough. So even though it was a harsh environment for him, he was safe. Whereas if he was with Sirius, I don't think he'd be anywhere, to be fair. So I will agree with that one. I feel bad for Sirius that he had to stay in Azkaban for all that long, but I agree with that idea that Dumbledore knew that Sirius had to stay in Azkaban and keep away from Harry. I agree with that. 15. The Black family line didn't end with Sirius's death. It's not disturbing as such, but still interesting. The one that says the Black family didn't die out. As everyone knows, there are male members of the Black family who are erased from the family tree, and that's disowned and denied by the rest of the family. They may have well had offspring not recognised by the rest of the Black family. True. Because if you go off, even though you are like gone, disowned from the Black family, Black is essentially still your name. It's your blood, it's who you are, it's your family. You may change your last name because they don't want you to have the Black family name, but you are still a Black. So when you go off and have kids, they inherit that heritage as well. So I agree with that. The fact that the Black family line probably is not dead. It's just the fact that they've disowned a few people, that they've never heard of the grandkids because they don't want to know. I 100% agree with that. So that's it for this video, guys. They were the best Harry Potter fan theories of 2022. Which one is your favourite? Let me know in the comments below. Do you have your own fan theories, that maybe one I've never heard of? Let me know. And again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like this content, subscribe. Why not? Just hit the button, please. No, feel free to subscribe if you want. And yeah, I will see you next time for another video. Bye.